Hello everyone, welcome to DKodeTree. Let's solve LeetCode 781 Rabbits in Forest today. At first glance, this problem might seem tricky, but believe me, if you take it step by step, it's really simple. The problem is, in a forest where an unknown number of rabbits are present, n of them are asked the question, how many rabbits have the same color as you? And we have to find out the minimum number of rabbits that can be present in the forest based on the answers of those n rabbits. Let's take this example. Say there are x number of rabbits in this forest and we have to find the value of x. Out of these x rabbits, n are asked this question. So we have the answers from n rabbits. So in this case, n is equal to 3 and we have to find out what is the value of x. The simplest thing to observe is the answer will be at least n. Now out of these n rabbits, the rabbit at index 0 answered 1, which means there is one more rabbit of the same color as this one, say red. Because this rabbit is saying there is one more rabbit other than me of my color. Therefore, at least 2 rabbits are there of red color. So this is the rabbit itself and this is the answer of the rabbit, which is summing to 2. So let's note red is equal to 2. Similarly, the rabbit at index 1 also answered 1, which means there is one more rabbit of the same color as this one. A point to note is that this color may or may not be same as red. I am saying this because think about a case where the answers of the rabbits are 1, 1, 1 and 2. In this case, the first 2 rabbits may have seen each other, but the third one must have seen some other rabbit. Otherwise, if all of them would have seen each other, then their answer would have been 2 and not 1. So now let's go back to our original example. Here the rabbit at index 2 answered that it has seen 2 more rabbits of the same color. Let's say blue in this case, which means itself plus 2 others, that is 3 rabbits of blue color. From this we know that the number of rabbits depend on the number of similar answers. So it may be useful to count the frequency of each answer. And this we can easily do using a hash map or counter in Python. Say we have a hash map in which each unique answer can be a key and we need to count the frequency of each unique answer. So in this case, first answer is 1 and its count is 2. The second answer is 2 whose count is 1. A point to note is that we may be able to form more than one groups from a single answer, as we have seen in the example 1, 1, 1, 2, where we had multiple groups associated with answer 1. But definitely the group size will be answer plus 1. Now let's take each key value pair from the frequency map and calculate the group size. So that is 1 plus 1 for the first answer is equal to 2. 2 plus 1 for the second answer is equal to 3. Now it's easy to calculate the number of groups using the group size and frequency just by dividing the frequency by group size. But we need to remember that it is not mandatory for all the rabbits to give answer. So to find the minimum number of groups based on the answer, frequency divided by group size may give some fractional number. So we need to take the seal of this value. In Python, the division is decimal by default. In other languages also, you can handle it by converting any of the numerator or denominator to float or double. So now let's calculate the number of groups for this example. 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1. 1 divided by 3 is equal to 0.33. And on taking the seal, it will become 1. Now to get the total number of rabbits associated with any unique answer, we can simply multiply the group size with the number of groups. So let's calculate the number of rabbits. It is 2 into 1 is equal to 2 and 3 into 1 is equal to 3. So easily we can find the total number of rabbits by adding the number of rabbits for each unique answer, which will be equal to 5 in this case. This implies we have found our x, which is equal to 5. Since we are using extra space to store the frequency of each answer, and there can be up to n unique answers, so in worst case, the space complexity can be O of n. Just like that, we will be iterating through all the answers, create the frequency map, and calculate the total number of rabbits for each unique answer. So the time complexity will also be O of n. So now let's code this up. The code is going to be pretty simple. First, we will create a frequency map for each answer, which we can easily do using counters in Python. Now let's take an answer variable for the total rabbits and initialize it to 0. The answer frequency map will be a mapping for each unique answer to its frequency. Now let's iterate over this answer frequency map and get each key value pair. Using the items function, we can easily get the key and value at the same time. Now our first step will be to calculate the group size, which is as simple as the answer plus 1. And using the group size and the frequency, we can now calculate the number of groups, which is equal to the ceiling of frequency divided by the group size. Now finally we will calculate the number of rabbits and add it to the total number of rabbits. So total rabbits plus is equal to number of groups into the group size. And finally we will return the total number of rabbits. This was all the code for this question. Let's run it and check if it works. Looks like I skipped the L in collections. So let me fix that and check if it works. So this is working, we can see, and it is quite efficient. If this was helpful, do consider liking this video and subscribing DKodeTree. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.